Monday. I love you guys.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
No, you can lower the weapon.
I'm just
Away
ready.
with your weapon. I mean you no harm.
Don't believe you.
This week we talk about the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 6.
We do.
And it
A
gets
lot.
ugly. It gets rancor ugly.
I think you should just cut straight to Scotty's rant and then come back.
There's ugly tears. There's
I haven't heard Scotty that
cats
mad
and
in a
dogs
long
living
time.
together. It's a mass hysteria.
My favorite part about me getting mad, though, is I'm just quiet through the whole thing, and then this is set off.
And then
I think the kids call it triggered.
Sweat a bit. So if you're triggered by the Book of Boba Fett, don't watch this episode. Or do. That's your choice. Some people are into being triggered.
sing along with Scotty.
Yeah, right.
Get a bouncing ball.
So check it out.
You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
Welcome to My Star Wars Life, a look at news, reviews, and other happenings from a galaxy far, far away. Here are your hosts, Scotty and JD.
It's Mando Monday!
Woohoo! Woohoo!
This is the podcast that looks into the Book of Boba Fett, maybe? I don't know.
Yes, it does, and I'm stoked.
Hi, this is Pete. We're from NPR.
I feel like you
And
two are
today-
the sweaty balls ladies.
and
from
we're going to talk about the
Saturday
Book
Night
of
Live
Boba
right
Fett.
now.
We're going to talk about Boba Fett's
Tell
sweaty
me a
balls.
little bit about Boba's Fett. What do you?
I had a Boba's Fett once.
Well, that's
When
like
I was in Boca.
That's like Yankee thick style.
Right, yeah. Remember?
I'm going to open a burger restaurant, and we're going to have a burger. That one way of getting it is Yankee thick.
Yankee thick.
Yeah.
It's got to have cheese, bacon, pickles, pickles.
Pickles? Okay. I'm your Native American pop culture.
Asparagus.
I am your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty.
Can you put a bouncing ball for that?
Maybe. Why are you trying to make me do more work?
If he does that, he has to start singing it every week. I am your Native American spirit guide, Scotty.
We haven't even gone 30 seconds.
I'm joined by our Jedi Master.
Wait,
I am joined by our Jedi Master
JD. I had to come prepared today.
and the dental Boba Fett's crotch, also the Larry David of Tatooine.
Going by Shmee now.
Shmee.
Going with Shmee.
So, Luke's, grandma.
Shmee.
Luke's Grammy.
Rufio!
So,
Rufio!
So the Tuscans murdered you.
Shmee. See, I figure if I just answer with Shmee, if you just Shmee, it's the new A.
We're also joined by Padawan
Me
Gellman,
BCD?
Hello there.
who's got his own camera that we managed to finally get working.
Yeah.
And then he just went away from it.
He's
He's like,
look at my camera, psych.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's be proud of it for a moment.
yeah, let's be proud of it more.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay,
All right.
that's enough.
Yeah. Now you can get rid of me.
Get rid of him. We are talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6.
Yes.
Let's get into this because there's a lot of discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we were going to get into this.
Uh-oh.
What'd you do?
His computer freezes up like all the time.
To get sand in it?
Yes, I got sand in
Okay.
there. Sand gets everywhere?
Gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably came in with Shmee's body.
Rufio, bangarang,
Nope.
bangarang.
What happened to that kid?
He's a very prevalent voice actor now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dante Bosco?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Rebels.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's one of the cadets that befriends Ezra. He's actually in the last season too. He's
Oh, great. Good for
one of
him.
those
And
guys.
he's also well known for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's right. He's
Zuko.
I don't know what
I
you're
don't
saying.
know.
What words you've just
He's got a
said.
scar on his eye. He's a redeemable character.
Do you mean the M. Night
Redeemed
Shyamalan show?
No,
Yes,
no.
That's exactly
No,
what I
it's-
mean. That's all the Avatar that exists. Not Cameron's and not the 400 episode anime.
Only?
Not anime. Because it's not considered an
Yeah,
anime.
because it's American anime.
Yeah, because it was made by Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
That M. Night Shyamalan
Nickelodeon.
adapted into a blockbuster that made tons of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Five
that
Oscars.
movie went really well. It's not at all hated
but-
by
Not
the
as many as
fans.
the happening one. But
If
it was
only
close.
Listen, trees can kill.
if
It's the wind.
Yeah,
that was the best one.
it's not at all. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have comments about
That was the
movie, too,
village,
but
right?
no, the village is one where there's no planes flying over a
Yeah.
chunk of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's right, with Joaquin.
Yeah.
The Book of Boba Fett chapter 6. I'm gonna write this fucking ship. That's what I'm going to do. Directed by Dave Filoni, obviously. Written and directed by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, obviously. Starring the usual suspects from the other episodes we've got.
Not Boba Fett.
No, he's in this one.
Oh, well, he's actually more like himself, right? He says one line.
Yeah.
Did he say one
Oh,
line?
no, he doesn't. Shan talks.
Shan
the
talks
whole-
for all
Well,
of it.
there we go. He's most Boba Fett of Boba Fett.
But we also get Timothy Oliphant as Cobb Vanth, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Corey Burton as Cad Bane, W. Earl Brown is returning as the Weekly
Yes.
proprietor, and J.J. Dashanall as Deputy Scott.
Of course, his name's JJ.
Who is that guy? Is anybody?
Is it Deschanel like Zooey and
Maybe
the
so.
other
Not
one?
Deschanel.
Okay,
Oh, it's
Deschanel.
not dead. Okay.
Deschanel.
I don't know.
Their dad's a famous DP.
Act 1.
He's a fantastic cinematographer.
Oh,
Yeah. Director of photography.
okay. That's not where my mind goes.
I know exactly.
I know
That's
exactly
why.
where your mind's going to. I've lost control of this show.
Dirt planes. What?
Dirk Pickler. It's my favorite DP, Dirk Pickler.
Dragon Prince.
Spickler.
It's a wonderful series by Melanie Ron. It's books. You should read them.
Books are hard.
Oh, these are softbacks.
Sure.
Yes, I have them.
On Tatooine near Mos Pelgo, a group of pikes are exchanging spice for credits when Raylan Givens himself, Seth Bullock, Timothy Olyphantastic's Cobb Vanth interrupts.
All fantastic. I'm using that.
That's a Kevin Smith joke.
Yeah.
Reminds us that and the Pikes that he is one who tells what folks to do around here, these parts, and tells the Pikes to scram. The Pikes would rather pick a fight, and Cobb Vanth is the fastest gun this side of Mos Espa. The lone survivor can go with a warning, and hey, leave that spice with Cobb, and he dumps it in the sand.
It's going to be a pain to separate later.
Yeah.
Just gonna find more worms.
Yep. There was a point in this episode where it almost sounds like let the spice flow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they stop themselves.
Yeah, I was waiting for the Fremen to be like, that's our shit.
The Mandalorian flies his hoopty to a mysterious green planet where he is looking for his little buddy Grogu and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
He finds some ant droids building a temple, and R2 who wastes his time and helps him build a waiting bench. We cut to Luke and Grogu meditating. Grogu uses the Force to try to eat a frog, but his master interrupts him and then lifts the whole bunch of frogs, which amazes Grogu, and then Luke lets the frogs go, which is probably really unsettling for the frogs, who are just like, we chilling, then suddenly we're flying?
Yep.
Stupid Jedi. Mandalorian is visited by Ahsoka Tano, who wonders why he's here. We're wondering why she's there. He wants to see Grogu and give him something. Ahsoka walks through the woods with him, where Grogu and Master Luke are training. Ahsoka says it's not good for him to see the little guy, but she will pass on the gift and sends Mando on his way. Grogu gets some training in. Check out Empire Strikes Back, but in reverse. Luke first helps him revisit some painful memories of Order 66 inside the Jedi Temple. Luke then trains Grogu to jump, sending a training remote after him, and while he's training, wonders with Ahsoka if Grogu has his heart in it. Ahsoka doesn't know, but she's got her own stuff going on, and she's off to go do her own spinoff series. Act 3. Mando's back on Tatooine for a big meeting at Fett's palace. Pice got them outnumbered, so Fett's going to need some foot soldiers. Mando has a good idea and heads to Mos Pelgo to talk with Cobb Vanth. He makes the pitch, and Cobb's not too keen on it, but he admits times are tough, and will pass the info on. Mando leaves, but through the desert a stranger comes, and it's not Omar Sharif. Thank you. Wow, that's a good pull. Hey, look, it's Cad Bane with an offer from the Pikes. The Pikes will match whatever Fett is going to pay them as long as they stay out of it. This causes Vanth to warn Bane that the Pikes are done here on Tatooine, and he's seen too much violence. Now it's time for peace. This, of course, leads to a shootout, leaving Vanth wounded and his deputy dead. Cad Bane warns the townspeople that as long as the spice is flowing, they'll leave him alone. Back in Mos Eisley, the Pikes take a page from Brian De Palma's The Untouchables and bomb the sanctuary. That's the katana owned by Garza Fwip. Luckily, Max Rebo wasn't there.
Yep.
Not sure how Flashdance is doing, but guess we'll have to wait until next episode.
Oh my god!
We're back on the
put baby in the
Jedi planet where Luke has Grogu inside the newly built temple. He offers Grogu the Mandalorian gift. A Beskar chainmail shirt that is worth more than all the Shire and has a +3 defense against cave trolls. Or Yoda's lightsaber. But he can only choose one, the Path of the Mandalorian or the Way of the Jedi. Credits!
So
I was proud of +3.
The +3 is good.
Yeah.
Cave trolls.
I thought maybe you would go with "I'm Too Sexy" because that's
that's a good one. That's
very
kinda- yeah,
appropriate.
very-
He was
very-
wearing a
very-
chainmail shirt in that. Yep.
Which also is +3 against cave trolls.
No, internet trolls.
I don't know if there's anything you can do a +3 against
Yeah.
that.
Nah.
You only get negative modifiers on
Well, I hate this episode, so who wants to start with this?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and join you on the old hate bandwagon.
we did the hate last. We went first last time.
Yeah, we true. We let the hate flow through us.
Right, so being fair, we'll let you guys do your thing.
So basically, defend it.
Okay. This episode is probably the most important episode of anything we've had lately. I think your only upsettedness is because this whole season isn't called The Mandalorian's The Book of Boba Fett. If it had The Mandalorian in the title, you would have no problem with this. Am I...
Last episode, yes. This episode, no. I have a whole new series of problems.
Okay. Is it technical movie-making stuff?
No, there's a little bit, but
Okay.
most of it is not. Most of
Okay.
it's story-driven.
Because this episode ties in almost everything else in the canon. And everything that Filoni's already done and plans to do. So I don't understand why there's hate for it. Because not only do we get like almost the culmination of some Rebels and Clone Wars stuff and Bad Batch where we've got Cad Bane coming back. Ahsoka was probably not necessary, admittedly, but that was there to remind us that we have a show. I mean, I get that. But my biggest thing, and I don't give a shit if this has to do with whatever it has to do with, for 30 years, I have wanted to see this Luke. And I've gotten to see this Luke.
But you got him at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
We got badass Luke that mirrored his dad. No, we get Jedi Master training Luke. It's the only time we're going to get...
You got that in when Rey hands him the lightsaber.
No, we didn't.
Why don't you hand me your lightsaber? Let me recreate that.
We
real
didn't.
quick.
But this episode ties into that trilogy as well.
Oh, that's part of the reason why I hate it.
But that's
What,
good.
did you expect they were going to try
I
to
mean-
AU it?
Yeah.
Like, and go a
I
different
actually
direction?
think that they were going to ignore it. I really do. I actually honestly believe they would ignore it as long as possible because of the amount of fan base that not fandom menace, but the fan base that I do know that Star Wars fans that did like the Luke that what you have, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my issue with it, and this is where I'll rebut to your
Yeah,
point. Specifically Luke. So here we have a character I've waited to see my entire life. Luke was my favorite character growing up. I understand. I share it with you, right? I have one too.
Yeah.
So to see that character having been abused to a point of where, when I even saw him in Force Awakens, I was bothered. But then, of course, everyone knows my hatred of The Last Jedi,
Right.
what they did to my favorite character,
Right.
which was unceremoniously non-logical to the path of the story they created for him, right? To see that again get brought back here as a reminder of that's what we're going to go to is just a further, it's more salt in the wound to me personally. That's why I don't like it. Because it does lead us down a path of, it still rejects. It goes through the very notion that he is going to reject everything that he did in Return of the Jedi, gone.
No,
Just magically gone over 5 years. Is that the window of time we
We're
have?
at 5.
I'm not...
5 years later, he doesn't care about nothing.
You've
And
got-
now he's a super hardcore zealot.
I'm-
That's my issue with it.
I'm not going to disagree with that journey, like, because that's part of my point too.
Sure.
Is that this ties that in because this is going to be his first failure, right? Because Grogu's obviously going to choose the armor.
Yeah, but that's even a dumb choice.
He's 4.
That's my point.
Yeah, but again,
that's why it's a
I'm
dumb
not
choice.
saying that Luke in this doesn't have his flaws as a character. Like the character has flaws, not necessarily the way they wrote it. All characters should be flawed, or they're a Mary Sue, Gary Stu, right? You don't want that. He doesn't.
Except for Rey. She's okay to be that way.
Sure.
She's not. She has flaws.
Yeah, dude. She
Yeah,
had
her
a yellow
existence-
lightsaber that was this big.
Her
What are you gonna
existence
do
is a
with
flaw. You're right.
No.
You're right. Fair enough.
that? But
Actual, I like Ray. Actual
Okay.
flaws
I do
exist.
too. But he doesn't. His only training on how to be a master was his time on Dagobah. So he's literally trying to make this up as he goes along. Maybe he got some.
and he rejected it though. I'm with you.
no,
He hasn't yet, though.
He did reject it on Dagobah. He left to go find his
he
friends.
didn't complete it.
He rejected the choice
Right.
to go find his friends, and
And
he came back later.
And he's doing what he's taught.
Right.
He's giving Grogu this choice.
Because
but
Grogu's-
Luke didn't even follow it. He never even adhered to it.
But that's all the way he knows how. Because
No, I don't think so.
To him, he's trying to recreate the Jedi Order with all of its flaws. The one that self-imploded and didn't see the rise of the dark side. You have Luke trying to just take the tenements of the Order and say, we cannot have attachments. Whereas and I think Caleb and maybe even Scotty might back me up on this one. Where in the legend stuff that we read before Phantom Menace and all this stuff, the Luke we got was the new Jedi Order where families could be had. And,
Yes.
and Luke even gets... And attachments were okay because that was sort of a thing that showed up in the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Was this no, attachments thing. Okay, fine. I can separate it from that. I can
he still
see-
has attachments though.
Everybody does. That's
I know.
the flaw of the Jedi.
I
is that
understand.
it's almost impossible
Okay, all right.
to not have
so
attachments.
let me clarify.
Yeah.
Jedis are allowed to have attachments.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to have romantic attachments. That's what Anakin tells Padme in 2.
They're also
Anakin is not a credible
they're-
source.
Yes, he
well,
absolutely
hold
is.
Hold on.
I'd argue he's more credible.
Yeah, he's a zealot.
So
I'd argue he's more credible than Luke.
I want to add to it, though. It's not that they can't just have attachments. It's that they can't let them control them, which is the lesson that Luke failed. Luke failed that.
Right.
He even comes back because he lost the fight to Vader. Throughout that entire time after that, he thinks he's a failed Jedi because he went to fight
I
Vader.
disagree. I
No, he
disagree.
does. It's canon.
Yeah.
Where's it canon?
comics?
No, I don't care.
That's
I-
canon, though. You can't say it's
No,
not canon,
that's-
but
no,
it is.
You can't do that because here's my issue with that. Then all of a sudden, I can also say in Battlefront 2, you play as Luke and you go secure artifacts.
That's not
right?
written. Yes, that's later.
That is canon.
Yes, but that is
That is
later.
in between. No. That's right now. That's right now. It's the 5
Well,
years after.
yes. He picks up that stuff 4 years.
It is before
yeah.
any of this happened. So if you're going to go down that path, Luke is already going down the path to find artifacts because he wants to understand it because he doesn't understand it yet. He's still on the journey to understand what the Jedi Order is. If you go back to it, where does he pick up this level of knowledge? Does he go? And so if you're saying
But-
you have to read the comics to understand that, then it doesn't make a whole lot of
But
sense.
he's
if
No,
you're pushing
we're
forward.
not. No one said you had to.
But
But
when
I'm
you
just
say
saying
something
the
isn't-
information exists in canon.
Yeah, and when you
so that,
So he got what I'm saying is that's where he learned like this is how the Jedi Order was
Well, so,
structured.
okay.
Because
Quick-
Yoda never taught him.
Quick real life example. I stopped doing my normal position at Gamers and Geeks to take over doing all this online content with
Sure.
filming and all this stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing,
Right.
other than doing a couple things for you here, right? I have very limited knowledge, so I'm Luke in that sense. So I'm now having to research what I'm doing while I'm trying to do it.
I get it.
And I think that's what that's got to be what Luke's doing.
Yes.
He's learning and teaching at the same time, and that he even says, "I hope I'm doing like I don't even think I'm teaching him. I think he's just remembering."
Yeah,
I don't
like
think he's teaching him at all. I
Yeah,
think he's
because he mentions to Ahsoka, I think he's just remembering everything,
Right.
especially after he unlocks Grogu's
So
memories.
doesn't he understand the fate of his own father though?
No,
I don't think
No.
on
No,
a-
I don't
I don't
think-
think on a level.
I don't-
Okay, so this is what's confusing to me. So there's a lot of gap that's getting filled from Luke from end of Return of the Jedi till now.
Well, yeah, because there's 30 years to fill.
Well,
5 years.
till
5 years.
Phantom. Till,
I'm talking about till right now.
right.
Well,
to
25. So then it's actually like 24.
It's 5 years.
24.
Return of the Jedi to now is 5 years.
Yeah, only 5 years have passed, but there's like, oh, you were saying Return
Return
to
of the
now.
We're
Jedi.
not talking about Force Awakens yet.
Okay.
I'm only going from Return of the Jedi to this window,
Okay,
right?
yes.
So he spent that 4 years, whatever, wandering around, collecting information to understand what the Jedi Order is. Is that in canon anywhere?
Yes and no. Like, there's still a lot of gaps.
yes, it's in canon.
I think he's also getting more powerful.
That doesn't matter. I think it's more about because we haven't seen that yet, so we don't
Yeah.
understand
Yes,
that.
we
Correct.
So what Scotty sort of laughed off as a joke in the opening thing with the frogs, I saw that as complete and utter power and connection with the Force. He had to pick out 20 whatever small life forces and bring them up. I could see a different Jedi just going, big ball of water, all the frogs. Where Luke goes, I'm going to individually control.
I don't know if they went that deep into it. I get your point,
but the perception is I'm going to individually pick out 17
still,
frogs.
he can be the most
And keep
powerful
him
Jedi.
alive.
But I'm saying that's what he's been doing since the end of Jedi.
Totally get it. So he's focusing on that,
Right,
which
and
is
now-
focusing on himself and all that stuff. And so now he's decided to take on Grogu because the little guy reached out from the rock and the
Right. Yeah.
planet and did that whole thing. And now because he has Grogu, he suddenly decides to build the temple, or do you think he was already building the temple? Because that looks like the first building being built.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he
went,
just started.
I could make a school now.
Yeah, I'm a student, so I can make
he
a
may
school.
be he may be adrift.
It just seems so poorly contrived for the character that the last time we have a understanding of where he is in the 5 years, right? Is we have a guy who dropped everything in Empire to go save his friends, right? Rejects his training to go save his friends. So he goes and does that. He learns that his father is the worst guy in the universe. Still doesn't give in, right? Still believes in something greater, falls to the hole. We get that, right? Now we have Jedi. He goes on a secret mission to Boba Fett's house to basically ruin Tatooine. Let's be honest,
Yeah.
or at least the Mos Eisley, or Mos Espa,
the
Moss's area.
Moss,
They're Isley.
yeah, the Moss
Eisley.
trilogy,
the Mos Eisley area,
the Moss
right?
State area.
Moss State area.
Moss State, ruins that, then goes on a journey with his friends to destroy the not the dark side, but destroy the Empire.
Yeah,
Ends up on a planet and says, you know what? Because I just saw this in Jedi. I just watched the scene. He's like, I can't be here. I'm putting you at risk. Tells his sister, guess what? You know, I'm your brother, blah, blah, blah. I love you. You should stay with Han, blah, blah. You're going to make a son. I'll kill him later. Don't worry about it. He then goes, turns himself in to see his father. And in that scene, and that's my issue. It's that very pivotal scene where he's standing, I guess, waiting to get on the shuttlecraft to go up to the Death Star.
yeah.
Go rewatch that.
Well, he's just standing there calmly.
But he has a conversation about love
Yeah,
with his father.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
It is about, Dad, I can save you. I love you. I'm here to save you. I
And
believe
the
in
first thing he says is too late for me.
Yeah,
Right.
It's very caring, really. It's
you.
like,
And both sides are starting to show, like,
Right.
Luke's getting through
Well,
to him, is what's happening,
but, yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
that's
And then
where-
he goes and fights Palpatine and does nothing. And does show a little bit of anger and shows some frustration.
Yeah,
but then at the end of the day, Luke realizes that he's just like his dad unless he changes. And he commits to the change. Not to the Jedi, but to love. He commits to love. He takes on the very idea of what I believe they're trying to negate in the prequel trilogy of this, which is like the old monk system. He rejects the monk system and becomes that, right?
Well-
So at the end of it, he's full of love. And then he sees his old masters,
Right.
whether it's the classic version and done the right way or the new ones. And he walks away
the new
happy
ones.
with himself.
and that's
4 years pass,
right
and now we have
to connect to old grumpy bitch.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying
but
that I'm going to
doesn't
be
seem like a
happy where
strong
his
character
journey
arc.
ends,
Right.
Because we know how it ends.
Yeah.
We've seen how it ends.
I understand, and I'm trying to only address the 5 years is what
But-
I'm trying to
yeah.
do.
But I'm
the problem is you have to acknowledge where the journey ends to see why this makes sense.
No, I understand that, but I'm also trying to watch it from the perspective of where's the character at now, because that's my issue with it. My problem isn't that Luke becomes that. I hate
Yeah.
that.
Right.
It's a bad choice. I don't have control over that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have control over any of it, right? But my bigger thing is what I don't like seeing is why are we seeing Luke at all? Like, and not because it's in the book of Boba Fett. What made Luke so amazing is the exact same thing that made Boba Fett amazing. We got a piece of Luke in a style we had not seen before. He comes in, he takes Grogu, he's gone. And then he's a myth. And he is the myth of Skywalker, and it's a beautiful thing. And now we're getting too much of it, in my opinion.
I think that
to
was
where
it. I
it's
think that was it. Except if we see him a little bit this coming week when Grogu gets picked up.
Yeah, but now he's going to drop him off. I don't think he's going to get picked up. I think Luke is going to bring Grogu back, and now we have Luke.
to fight the Pikes.
I'm out.
Well,
And I mentioned, I predicted this in what,
You
chapter
did.
5?
You totally did, and I said I would quit, and I will be done.
And also
So
mentioned
he shouldn't
Ahsoka.
come fix the problem he made that you just said he made.
No.
Yeah, because you just
No, 'cause that's
said that he
attachment.
made the problem. That's not attachment.
No, it's attachment.
That's not attachment. That's
It is
fixing your mess.
No, he's. I believe it to be
It's
attachment.
So
responsibility.
if you think
It's not
that-
his mess. It's Leia's mess. She's the one who killed Hut.
So if you
She killed Jabba.
Luke's journey might be his struggle with attachment, like that. I mean, he obviously
Sure.
So that's as much as I hate that
It
he
just
does
makes
that,
him dumb.
I'm not saying he's like he's
No, but I mean the
Yeah.
choice thing makes him dumb. The decision matrix makes him dumb.
The character has flaws, which is great. Like, don't want Gary Stu, but I forgot what I was about to say. He makes. Oh, that's why he makes this decision to follow in Obi-Wan and Yoda's footsteps and hermit himself, so that he doesn't. He obviously at that point knows he's prone to attachment. He was attached to his students. He was attached to his nephew. He almost killed his nephew because he found that rage he had when he was fought the Empire. The Emperor. So I guess I'm just gonna take off to a random planet.
But before I do that, I'm going to build a school to train a bunch of other people
Well,
and potentially.
that's
No,
years
that's-
before.
that's before
You're
that
saying
realization.
after that fact.
yeah.
But I can't address after the fact because I'm trying to stay in the present of the character now. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying not to let the past future
Okay,
influence
well,
where we are now,
so
and
with
that's
that-
my issue. My issue is with
Yeah.
where they've handled it right
Well,
now.
it
in
makes
the
it
storyline.
makes sense though, because while acknowledging that yes, he does have attachments and he usually goes with them, every time he goes with them, only one time has it worked out well. Every other
I would
time
say
he's
every time
failed.
it worked out
No,
well.
every time he's failed.
How'd he fail? Leia and Chewie left.
Every other time he's failed. The Empire, he failed.
How did he fail?
He lost that fight.
He fails 3 times, and he fails 3 times in Empire.
But him doing that is what let
Is one
them
of his
get away,
failures, but it's
which
one
is
of,
the whole reason he went there. He
But
went
it-
there to save his friends.
But as a Jedi, it's one of his.
As a
it's one of
Jedi,
his
not as a
failures.
hero.
doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
the same thing.
It
It's
is.
not.
You guys are dividing it out, and the reality of it is, in the story that we have, he is doing the same thing. The hero's journey. That's all he's on. That's all this is. He's on the hero's journey. His hero's journey was to become a Jedi, and he rejected that to then go become a
Hero?
No. Yeah, but it's still on the journey. But to become of his own choice, not to become a Jedi, he goes to find his friends, which is the hero process.
Right.
He's rejecting the idea. Jedis aren't heroes; they're just characters.
That's why I
Yes,
just
that's
separated
why
them.
we
You
were
said I couldn't
separating. You said we
separate them.
couldn't. Yeah.
You guys were saying that him going there was a Jedi move, and he failed as a Jedi. He didn't fail as a Jedi. He didn't fail at all. He succeeded what he went to go do, which was save his friends. With the exception, you can make an argument, Han.
Well, so Caleb's point, I think, was when he left Yoda, he fails that part of his Jedi journey.
I don't think that's a failure.
That is though.
That's a failure to religious zealotry. That's not a failure.
No, hold on.
I'm not saying
we
it's
are not,
right or
okay,
wrong.
So
Then that's why I can't say
it's
it's a
also
failure.
dangerous to
It's a
argue.
choice.
It's
No,
also
it's-
dangerous to argue that Jedi are
Luke fails 3 times in Empire Strikes Back, and you're all so far wrong. Can you name them?
He fails in the Cave of Darkness.
That's 1.
yeah.
With the X-Wing?
Do or do not.
Yeah.
2.
And when he forgets to wipe after taking a shit.
When he fights Vader, he loses that fight.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Well, that we had already talked
Right,
about.
right.
Yeah.
But the other, I'm like saying, the choice
Is
of
not a
him-
failure.
Is not a failure.
No.
It's part of his journey
That's right.
because he gets to come back.
That's right.
And he knew he was coming back, and he promised that, and he did come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, facing Vader is part of his trial.
Yeah.
And he wasn't finished with his trial until he crosses Vader or defeats him. And so that's his Jedi trial. That's how he becomes a knight.
Yeah.
I don't know how he becomes a master. We didn't see that yet.
Well,
The ghost of Wendy
Yeah,
was like,
like-
yeah, you'll do.
Right. I mean, when Kanan became a knight, but thanks to Force Ghost.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible.
but by going, that automatically put him towards failure.
I don't think so.
Even Yoda and Obi-Wan both warned him that that's not the right choice.
No,
And-
because I don't think they have faith in him. I don't think they have faith in him to defeat Vader. They think they're going to lose him
yeah,
because you can't see they can't see the future.
no.
And then they're like,
Even though
no, there's
Force,
another one.
Even though
Maybe
Force
we could do
Ghost,
better with that
Right,
one.
right.
Yeah.
He's like, well, at least we have a backup.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Look.
I think I guess here's my thing is what I like about the Jedi, what I've always liked about, and again I'm going to go from I don't necessarily love what they did with the Jedi, what we got when the prequels came out and how it changed to me as a fan. It changed it. It turned it into something very. I've told Scotty this. For me, it's very pharisaical in nature, right? And so it's very old style religion, very controlled, right? What I loved or what I thought was always interesting is that with what we see, it's always about a choice. And I enjoy that. And we're getting that. We're getting the parallel from him saying, choose Mando or this,
Yeah.
right? But the thing that was amazing about Luke was it almost felt like Luke made choices, but Luke made choices that were in my opinion, the right choices. They weren't. They might have failed the Jedi structure that we now know it as,
Right.
but they were the right choices to change the world, and he did that.
Because ideally, what a Jedi should be, and what the prequels gave us, this is what Jedi are, in my head, have always been two different things.
I agree.
To me, a Jedi
Circle gets a square.
is
We
like
haven't said that in a
a
while.
like a paladin. I just fight for others to break. I'm here.
Well, they
to,
also were. They made them into negotiators, right? Is where they landed.
Yeah,
with
but
them.
like it was always for
Impartial people to come in. Hey, let's just figure out
that,
this
but also
dispute.
like, hey, there's a
But we
there's
can
a
slaughter you.
There's a tyrant here. We've
Let's
got to
kill
go
him.
deal with it one way or the other.
And we'll talk
Yeah.
to it first, and
We're
then
going to
aggressive
see.
negotiations.
This may be a bad analogy. We're the CIA, right? We're going to go fix it one way or the other.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
So what I
We're
find,
gonna make you think we. Air America.
And then sell drugs.
so what I find fascinating about this is that you and I are completely on opposite ends of why we don't like this episode,
Yeah.
which is beautiful because you're really focused on Luke. I'm really focused on the why.
The why what?
Exactly.
No.
No,
Exactly.
he's the opposite of your question to me.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
Which one?
You asked me. You asked me why if it was about it being technical
Oh,
and being
okay,
into
okay.
that, and it's not about technical. Neither one of us.
Okay.
No.
I have some complaints.
no, I don't.
It's about it does exist in the Book of Boba Fett for him.
You're partially right. If this was called something else, I may feel a little better.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't feel better if it's called something else and presented this way. So I get 5 episodes of Fett barely doing anything in the story of the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
The Book of Boba Fett, not Mando season 3. The Book of Boba Fett, and he barely does any. Great episode 2 gets to do some stuff. Great, I like that. But he doesn't. He has. I've mentioned this every damn week. I feel like talking to walls sometimes. But it's like he slow walks, rides slow things, and has meetings.
Right.
That's all he's done. And so when we get excitement, they don't let him do it. They bring in Mandalorian because Mandalorian. I mean, I give credit to Tamora Morrison, who got the sweetest gig ever. You get to be a lead on the show, and you don't have to be in every episode.
You know what I was-
That's amazing. That's amazing. But here's my problem. I want the Book of Boba Fett, and what I got was the sticker book of Boba Fett, where it's a Star Wars sticker book, where it's like, here's no plot, but here's some great stickers of things you like. Oh, look, you like Ahsoka? You can put her wherever you want. You like Luke? You can put him whatever you want. Oh, Grogu? Put 5 of them. It doesn't matter. Let him jump. It's dumb. It's absolutely ridiculous how the Star Wars can do better in telling a story. Filoni's better at doing a story. Favreau's doing a better story, and they're lazy. They don't want to write something. They just want to put in action figures and dolls and no structure, no story, no nothing. It's lazy, and it angers me. It infuriates me because it's so lazy, and they're better than that. They're so much better than that. They have given me beautiful stories, and Mando season 1 and Mando season 2. Now, every episode's great, but they brought it all together. They're just putting stickers on stuff and making people happy. And you, the audience out there, the Star Wars fans out there, deserve better. Don't listen to the bread and circuses. That's all this is. This is Disney bread and circus. And I hate to be that guy on that side that this is some weird, because it feels like some weird mandate. This one doesn't feel honest or true or artistic. It just feels like we need dolls. Sell more dolls. Oh, you don't have a Grogu in Book of Boba Fett, but that's all right. We have a Grogu. We'll just put him in there. Oh, have him jump. It's cute. It's dumb. It's none of it's earned. That's my biggest problem with it. None of it's earned.
What does that even mean? Because you said that the day we
so-
watched it.
so-
What do you mean by earned? How is it unearned? We got the first 2 seasons of Book of Boba Fett. We have some payoff or
Mando.
whatever. It's all
Right,
the same
right.
show. But
Apparently now it is.
it is. And
is.
if you
I think it's
remember,
I think it's
if you
always
remember
been.
last season when the Book of Boba Fett announced, we literally said on this show, it's going to be Mandalorian season 3.
And then they were like, no, it's a separate show.
Well,
right, but we called it.
I think
Whether they-
yeah, I think that's the big lie. I think
But-
it's always been
But
connected.
I don't understand what you mean
So
when you
here-
say they haven't earned it, because they did
Do you
how
know the
many
fr-
seasons of Clone Wars?
Do you know the
they
phrase?
did how many seasons?
Okay,
That-
but do you understand? So I'm trying to think of something else outside of Star Wars that you and I have talked about before, so that it can help you understand perspective. Because part of the problem with Star Wars is we all have an emotional attachment, and this is my biggest problem with Luke. Is they're pulling in emotional. The sticker book is coming out an emotional. Ahsoka's my emotional attachment. Luke's my emotional attachment. They're just slapping. For a lot of people, it was Boba Fett was Jeff Worley, one of my best friends in the world. Emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing. Boba Fett for him and his mom. It's deep, dude. It's tear worthy. the fact is they set that up to give us that, and then what ends up happening is instead of being a perspective, think back to what happened in the first. I was trying to do this just as an exercise. Think back to the first couple episodes of Book of what happened in the first couple episodes of Book of Boba Fett. It feels like a million years away to me because we've had so much other stuff not related to him up front. In that, so here's what I'm interpreting his meaning of earned means.
I'll tell after he's
Okay.
And it's the same, or at least my perspective on it. It's not that you can't deviate. I get it. You could. I think Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth should have been in the show from day one.
Yeah.
They're such a great ad. You want to mix it up? Great. They're on the same planet. They're involved in the same process. Mando
they're in the
wasn't-
same story.
Yeah.
they had his armor. I mean, it really ties in well. The Mando stuff, yeah, Mando and Fett had the little dynamic, not as much as it seems, but a little bit of dynamic. 2.5 episodes. Really one episode, but that's all right.
Right.
So now all of a sudden we have that dynamic. Instead, I would have rather had 4 episodes of Book of Boba Fett and then said, hey guys, here's like at the end of episode 4, right? We get a song and then it slam cuts and you get a little teaser of Mando. And then they just tacked on 3 episodes of Mandalorian at least make it linear to flow through.
Okay.
So that as the experience goes, we get perspective that stays true to one character perspective, what we set up with, instead of now jumping completely into a whole nother realm. It'd be like going from, I don't know if I can make this analogy well enough. It'd be like going, to me, it'd be the times that I played D&D, and I would play D&D, the D20 edition, and then the next game, the guys would want to play Pathfinder.
Right.
It was pretty hard for me to like, wait, what? It was a big shift for me to go, right? Because I didn't have enough wisdom in that space.
So
I'm trying to find a link there.
my quick just rebuttal to what you were saying, and then I'll please explain. Like I do want to know,
It's
but
easy.
so we've been talking about the name of the show, the name
It's
of
not just the name, it's the content.
But here's how I perceive it from my perspective: is I see it as all Star Wars first, and not the name of the show.
Which would be fine. But they don't set it up that way.
But but it's all like this. Literally ties in everything else Filoni's done, and so,
But
because we didn't get this much hate when we first saw a Lothcat that he brought in, or he brought in everything from in the Mandalorian when we saw
that's
a blurb.
an aside.
That's aside. That's
The
not,
perspective
that's-
of the show
no,
didn't change.
I see. To me, it's still this story of that he's been telling since the beginning of Clone Wars and Rebels. It's all part of that. That all tie in overarching.
I will. Okay, overarching.
Yeah.
We'll buy that. But we're talking about a section of this arc. And in the section of this arc, he's telling a specific story, Favreau is, and then he literally looks like, by episode 5, he's bored with,
Right.
and is going to write something else.
No, because you said that, I think, last week.
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
exactly, because that's what it seems like to me. Because, again, I think maybe I'm too close to the forest to see the trees, but there's one episode left, and I don't, again, like I said last week, I don't think it's going to stick the landing.
It may
Maybe
not.
they
now.
may not even end it.
And
I had this conversation.
So, what I mean by earned
Yes.
is that you're telling a complete story about something,
Okay.
and then you just tack things on without having it have purpose. So there's a lot of unearned moments. The whole bringing to Mando isn't unearned because they mentioned we need to get, and it's like cool. The Grogu stuff and all that stuff, it's just a weird aside that just they like. You said even earlier, why is Ahsoka there? Because she's not earned. It's not earned.
That I get her. I
right,
don't
yeah.
get the whole episode.
So
Well-
here's the thing. I will admit, I liked seeing all this stuff. I'm happy to see Ahsoka. I'm happy to see Jedi Luke train people. I love Grogu. I love seeing Grogu. But if I'm going to be honest and objective about a story about Fett and his journey to be a crime boss, why am I watching this? And that's my hang-up. It's not earned. It's just literally they got bored. They're going to, and it may connect to something else. But it's the same problem I had with Loki. Loki. I don't know if anyone saw Loki.
Yeah.
But my problem with Loki is that they spent 6 episodes to build up a expanded Marvel universe, but not solve the story that they gave you.
Yeah.
And this is what Fett's doing.
Right.
They're like, we're going to build this other. I'm happy, build the universe. But if you're going to do it, start with episode 1 and go, all right, here's these threads. Here's these threads. and let's give you these threats here. So we're gonna have Fett, we're gonna have Mando, we're gonna see what Grogu's up to. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. But no, what they do is like we're gonna show you Fett's journey, and then we're gonna stop it, and then give you a whole another story.
So, and I 100% agree. Like that's jarring.
It's
but it doesn't
lazy.
make me hate the episode. It doesn't make me hate what they're doing.
But it takes away from the appreciation of. For me,
It makes me hate the series. The
I
episode's
was
fine.
bored for the first 4.
Absolutely. 'Cause
oh no, it's a colossal failure.
Yeah, it is not a good story.
Because it's
a colossal-
it's not him becoming a gang boss. It's
But
him
it's
being
not
a
even.
bitch.
There's not even.
I'm with you.
The tone's not even the same.
Same.
No.
That's my thing.
Inconsistent.
That's what I said with Scotty.
So-
is when I watched all of season 2 and got to the Boba Fett stuff, I was like, "Who's this guy?" And now all of a sudden we got nobody.
So what I'm hearing is that we all kind of agree on everything.
Except
be-
for me and the Luke. I don't
but-
want to see Luke.
But as far as like,
I want to see Luke. I don't want to see Luke in the if this is not a part of the story.
So it's I feel like it's not. It doesn't. So the Luke
I
issue
mean by
I have.
this story, this particular story.
no, I got you.
Not the
But
overarching
that's what I'm
Mandalorian.
saying.
I
The
mean,
The Luke
this-
issue I
this-
have
this
is
chapter.
There's no. It's like. There's no lead up. There's no setup. There's no easing into it. It's just kind of like thrown in.
right?
So it's like it's food for me. I don't know how to describe it. It's like going to get a dish and everything is perfect on this. Like I don't know if you've done a tasting menu, multiple course.
No, I just eat everything.
Okay, so you do a multi-course and everything is laid out to be a specific progression that tells a story that you have a feeling. So like you're going through it and it's like really fine dining. Not saying Boba Fett's fine
No,
dining.
I understand your
Mando might
analogy.
be. But you're getting down and then all of a sudden they serve you a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And not like a good one, but like a cheeseburger
Like
that
a crystal burger.
that's comforting that you would
Sure.
like in any other instance, but not right now.
Okay, so-
and that's how it feels to me, and that's why.
So
it's a
that's what
problem.
I was about to like. Here's why I think, like, because we've been having fun, y'all, all week talking and smack to
Yeah.
each other because I loved the episode, and then Lemon and Mathau over here were
I'd rather be the. What are the two guys from the Muppets?
Statler and Waldorf.
Thank you.
But anyway, we have the same ideas. It's just I don't have that perspective of being in the. I think it has to do with you being in the industry.
No.
No, and knowing how things are supposed to be constructed.
I don't think it's that. I think for me,
And with you as a writer, how things are supposed to be. Whereas I'm looking at it, and I know you're not, but I'm looking at it as it's Star Wars content.
and that's
And-
fine.
but that's why I'm loving it, because I got things. If I don't ever
that's
see
what-
Luke again,
right, and that's
I'm
why-
happy.
and that's my problem with it.
Okay,
That's
now,
that.
this
that's
may be incendiary.
No. This is my problem with it. It's fine that you like it. I'm happy that I'm not telling you not to like it.
Right.
I'm not telling anyone not to like it. But I've said this in my rant.
Yeah.
They have done better, and they can do better.
Yeah.
This all could have been earned, and it would have been so much better. They chose not to. And in fact, to me, it just seems like I don't want to be the guy who's like conspiracy theory. It seems like a mandate to sell toys.
Okay, so
It-
real
it-
quick, my incendiary thing that one of the two of you may punch me for.
No.
Why did you hate Last Jedi?
for what they did to Luke, 100%.
So not enough fan service,
Had nothing to do with
and
fan
this one
service.
had too much.
No, it had nothing to do with fan service.
Because the whole reason everybody
I don't-
hates The Last Jedi is because it's not what we expected.
no,
I don't
It's
like.
technically a terrible movie. I can go into that whole
Well,
rant
okay.
separately.
Okay. Being outside the industry, I just don't like the story. I don't like. Why is there a? But I don't care. The Luke stuff actually kind of makes sense to me. Is this whole Luke stuff?
I understand. It's only me that has an issue with it because I feel like it's not a
Luke-
character
Luke-
arc.
I thought of it earlier today. It's like I felt like
Luke becoming a hermit and a failed Jedi makes sense to me because the Jedi are a failure. So it's cyclical. It rhymes. It's poetry. Lucas always wanted that. The issue I have with it is just like there's a weird slow
yeah, the space chase is just
stupid. The Canto Blight thing is dumb. Just to tell us that everyone's evil. Okay, yeah, we get that the world sucks. I got you. Oh, and Broom Boy. Let's go like Broom Boy, and then like
That's the next Luke.
and then
That's what Taika's show's
Well,
going
it's
to be about.
supposed to.
my favorite thing in the movie is what I'm wondering what Maz Kanata's doing because she seems like she's in a better movie than The Last Jedi.
She's a diehard.
Right, and so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
why did you show us this, Ryan Johnson? No, we're gonna watch Canto Blight's so bad. Filoni directed a fine episode. Bryce Dallas Howard directed a got better one. I guess we're going to say that. I don't like. I agree. I don't like the dialogue because it doesn't.
Weird lines. The written word was weird. The way he phrased things, it was just.
But you know what
cringy.
I noticed? Like, but it was Luke talking to R2 on Dagobah,
right?
At times, Grogu,
You're right?
Like, I mean, he still had that. I mean, he's still because what is he now? 25, 27. He's not very old still.
He's under 30 probably.
Yeah. So he's still like, and now he's got to be sort of dad / teacher to a 6-year-old toddler, right? Like,
Yeah, he's.
I doubt Luke knows how old he is.
He's-
right. But
He's 28.
okay. So what cracks me up, and I'm going off on another little thing about Grogu, and this is what I've always thought. He died. We haven't heard him speak yet. He can walk. He can now obviously jump.
He's a Mario character.
Yeah.
But
Mario.
It's a me, Grogu.
and it's because of his species, which we will probably never get a name for.
Grogu.
That
He's like Groot.
we're not sure how they age, right? I mean, obviously they take longer, but like he's walking, and Luke's offering him a lightsaber when the dude can't feed himself. Well, yeah, he can frogs, but like he's like that weird mix of newborn and toddler.
I think he's like a 4-year-old.
Then
Yeah.
4-year-olds talk, dude.
Not maybe.
Yeah, but think
No,
about how
also-
Yoda's speech pattern was.
Well,
though.
I think also.
But we don't know how Yoda was raised.
Also, Grogu's been horribly traumatized.
Yeah,
That's true.
We also have to remember that the reason that he's having to relearn his Jedi training is because he blocked all of it out.
That's fair. But
and he already had a 19-year advantage already.
But I'm wondering if when next episode or episode 1 of season 4 of The Mandalorian, we'll get Grogu sees Mando as like dad.
Probably.
Dad. You know, and because I think
I hope not.
I think it would be tough to keep him in character with talking.
I like that dynamic between them two. I
like it, but I don't think he needs to ever say dad.
But
I
like
think it
even
just
with
needs
his
to be-
noises, well, but that was my.
I know.
But,
I know what you mean.
Even with his his noise that Grogu makes are baby coos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I guess maybe makes it harder for me to think of him as a
Then
4-year-old.
why does a Jedi think he needs to present him with a choice and expect him to make
again,
one?
because
And
it's
that's-
Wolf Club.
It's
What is
meant
it?
to be
Lone
a-
Wolf and Cub.
It's Lone Wolf and Cub.
It's
Yeah.
also meant to be
That's
a bad
shot straight
choice.
from that, by the way.
It's
Yeah.
meant to be a bad thing that Luke is doing this.
Right, and like we know that only Sith deal in absolutes, and we find out that Yoda tells him do or do not, pretty absolute. And now, but Luke has never heard that only Sith deal in absolutes.
Right. My favorite part of the whole scene, I think it's a good scene. I like you got to pick one or the other. And he goes, "Hey, your lifetime,
Yeah, but I have an issue with that.
your lifetime is
A moment to you is a lifetime to
for
another.
something." And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, then go live with Mando and then
Yeah.
come back.
Exactly right. That was my thing. It was like,
Luke won't be able to train him, but
You
somebody
can have your cake and eat it too.
and I think that's so. Well, I have my own theories that
Well-
he's gonna have his armor and a saber.
Yeah,
Might not be a lightsaber, but he's gonna have a
Who's
saber
gonna
at some
leave
point.
Mandalore?
Well,
I think in 100 years, yes.
Yeah. I also think
2.
either way he'd get. I think either
Yeah.
way he would have got. I think if he chose the lightsaber, he'd still get both. I think Luke would give him both. It's more of the presenting the choice.
Well,
and
because he
teaching
needs to
him.
defend himself against cave trolls.
Well, I think it's also to present him that choice and teach him the difference between attachment and letting
worth
go
more
of
than the
attachment.
Shire.
So you wanted to make
Yeah.
that video earlier. You need to have a shot of Luke doing this, then just cut to Gimli. Mithril.
I might do that. I might make that.
can I just say the again that the Cobb Vanth stuff phenomenal? And
Oh,
then
yes.
can we just talk about how amazing
Can
it
we-
was to
can
see?
we- Yeah.
And
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane's great.
I loved him.
Like people complained about it. That's when you know you're.
Who complained about Cad
I saw
Bane?
people on the internet complaining that he didn't look
So-
the same.
Oh
they-
yeah, and there's,
People were missing his toothpick, and I'm like, I'm okay with that.
well,
Yeah.
I think also skin
And color.
color,
Skin color.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
how much
it's
older since
lighter
the last
now.
time we saw him?
Who cares? It's animation to live action.
But no, that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. But he's also so much older. Maybe Duros lighten as they age.
Well,
We don't know.
Also, most Duros are dead by the age that Cad Bane has gotten to.
Here's when I was talking earlier. I can't remember if we were rolling when I said this or not. I watched it Wednesday, then I watched it Friday night with one of my twins.
I watched it with my girls.
So
I watched
Grace,
this thing 3 times.
Grayson watched it. Grayson wakes up at 2 like y'all and watches it. So if you ever want to talk to one of the virgins about this episode right after you watch it, you can call Grayson and he'll be like, "Man, it was so good," because he's 13. Everything's
Right.
good. So
It was Wizard.
It was Wizard. So at the end, when the stranger comes from the desert, like Mando takes off, and I start watching Beckett because Beckett's watched Clone Wars. Beckett's
right.
watched Rebels, right?
Yeah.
I start watching him, and I'm watching his face, and his progression was the same as mine watching it 2 days before, and
Yeah.
it was so awesome.
It's a great scene.
So he's sitting there, and he's like,
Also earned.
100% earned
but he goes,
in two sequences.
wait, because then it cuts away from the silhouette.
Right.
Was that Dad? That hat looks familiar.
Yeah.
That same
And
feeling.
then it comes back. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
So-
Yes! And he
so-
just double-handed up.
I watched
so
at the
excited.
gym, and so I unfortunately watch it always on my phone first and go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
And I watched it on my phone, and I was like, because it's tiny.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I leaned in and I'm working out. And I was like, no way, like really loud. And people like, and they're looking at me. I'm like, and I go, and then I'm like, yeah. I do the same thing. I was like, this is great. I lost it over.
I think the best shot in the entire show is Cad Bane looking up when you see his eyes.
Yeah.
That's so
Like,
good.
I
So
love that
good.
whole scene because we know Cobb Vanth, it was established at the opening, is fast.
Right.
Yep.
We know from Clone Wars. I can't remember where we first see him. I think it's
Clone
Clone Wars.
Wars.
Clone Wars we see him, we
Clone
see him
Wars.
in Bad Batch. We don't see him in Rebels.
We don't see him in Rebels?
No, he's not in Rebels.
No, Bad Batch he was chasing.
That's
yeah.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Feels like
we
the
know
same.
he's a gunslinger. I mean, that he's a bounty hunter, but he's absolutely a gunslinger trope
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
He has a duster and a wide-brimmed hat. I mean, he is.
Right. Would you call that a Western, like a cowboy
Absolutely.
trope?
Yeah, he's based
Yeah.
on
He's, specific.
Yeah.
the good, the bad, the ugly.
I call
Leo-
all of Star Wars a Western because it is.
Even the Jedi stuff?
No, I'm saying Star Wars is a Western.
Oh, technically it's by genre.
Right.
Yeah.
But is the Jedi stuff
by
Western
genre.
motifs?
No, that's more samurai.
Oh, guys, I'm coming out. I'm by genre.
It's samurai, which also
Comedy drama. What about
so,
you?
So here, but here's my
but
point.
it's samurai, which westerns are based
Here's
off.
what I understand all that. I went to film school too.
Not two. No two. Just you could just stop. 'cause I
Yeah,
didn't
you
go
can
to
just
film
stop.
school.
He did.
You're the odd man out.
So here's the
We'll see
here's
you
the
film.
scenario here, and here's maybe just I'm hearing all your points, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
Here's my issue with why it's not earned.
Okay.
Because we were watching a Western,
Uh-huh.
and you just threw in a samurai movie.
Okay.
100%. That
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Okay.
It is
makes sense.
kin by genre, but it doesn't work, and it happened twice. So we have at first we have a Western that has like a little bit of crime nuance, but if you go back and watch book, it's got no offense, I'm not being mean here. It's got cowboys and
Yeah,
Indians.
and there you go. It's absolutely Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
And
Right?
that's why I liked
Yeah.
it.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here comes
They treated the
episode
Indians with
5,
respect.
and it's not. It's something else altogether.
Right.
I don't even know what that genre would be. Though it had a lot of Western
It would
moments.
be-
There was Western moments. There was like crime noir
Yeah.
moments.
but it was really weird. It wasn't
Yeah.
in the same arc. It wasn't in the same
so
vibe.
that makes more sense. Why?
So now all of a
you say
sudden,
it.
when he says it's not earned, that's part of what we're saying. Is
Okay.
like if you set up a Western to go that route, there is storytelling technique in that. They are following a path.
Yeah.
And when they reject that path to suddenly just change the whole thing, it's not. I guess I'm not speaking for you here, but at least for me, the issue I have is that Mando episode was amazing.
Right.
Episode 5 is fantastic. I might not love the Luke stuff, but I would tolerate it if we had gotten to a point where we were now on Mando's journey.
Right.
And it was like
So-
the tone of the show was the same. That makes a big difference because this one's even more bizarre where we have Western in the beginning.
Okay. I 100%
Samurai.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's fair to say that you hate the episode then.
I hate the
season.
No, I hate the content of
Hate the season and the
I hate
flow.
the content of the Luke portion, which is the majority of the episode.
But like
Action,
hate
yeah.
hate it's not the rest of the season. Like hate that it's not the rest of the story. I understand that. I get that it's not like if I'm watching Seinfeld and all of a sudden Brooklyn Nine or not Brooklyn Nine, but like 911 shows up in the 4th episode of the season. I'm like, this is no longer a comedy. What just happened?
That's right. That's
What?
a great point.
You know,
That's a very great way of
I
saying it.
understand. Like now, I understand your concerns more. Saying it that way.
No, not concerns. Criticisms.
Yeah, criticism.
But you,
yeah.
but
And then there's a level of respect that comes out of that to the fans, which is where I agree with Scotty 100%. Is when you just shoehorn it in sometimes.
Yeah.
When it's not earned, we didn't build up to it. We didn't give us a moment to get there. When it just gets thrown in, it's kind of like, here you go. This is what you wanted. And then there's no reason for it to be there. There's no an over arc. Yes, I
Right.
get it.
So it's.
But you could argue that we've been on this arc path in Star Trek even
Yeah.
forever, and
What's Star Trek?
Yeah.
We will beat this subject to death. We will
Yeah.
beat this subject
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
again. I have two things before we go, real quick. I've noticed in this episode, because you really get a lot of Grogu in his full outfit. Is Baby Yoda wearing a sleeve?
I think it's a potato sack.
No, it's like a sleeve. It looks like the.
oh yeah, it's like a baby sleeve. Yeah, yeah, it's a onesie.
It's like a sleeve of like a giant creature, and they just was like, "This is clothes for you."
So now I'm only going to see is Grogu doing the scene from Big Daddy. I wipe my own ass. Like,
right. Number two, why do you have to wear it for 50 years?
because he only evacuates every 32 life days.
Whatever. I don't.
Yeah.
It's just like
I just started watching Mando again.
I
so
just. I don't know. I just.
he didn't have a vac tube in the Nikto camp.
Because like when we saw the flashback, he's wearing the same thing, and I'm just like, really? This is what you get 50 years.
Well,
Oh, interesting.
you know what?
And,
you know what?
But you know what? Durable.
It's the Jedi way. Luke's been wearing that black shit since Return.
Yeah.
Right?
Got his Chanel boots
And then he went
everything.
gray.
He's right. You should wear.
And then he went gray, literally and in costume for the last
Well, you know,
Jedi.
he ran out of polish
Yeah.
for his boots.
And,
At least Han
last question I
changed.
have was that Octode that he was building on.
No.
No, that
Octo's
was the planet from the flashbacks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
from for the flashbacks. Octo's the Irish planet.
I understand,
But
but
it's not
that's
the same-
not. You're not
no.
saying he's building a school somewhere and he's going to move the school.
No, the
no.
school's always been there. The school was never on Octo.
Yeah.
yeah, the school.
October-
or else
October.
Kylo
No,
would know
where
he
Rey was.
Right.
Yes,
The school wasn't
that's
there.
not where the school was.
That's where
But
he
it was
went
the
to
same
hide.
buildings.
No,
No.
that's Jedi temples. They were different temples.
So he's building the school in the model of the
So you know the
temples.
flashbacks where he's going to kill Ben?
Yeah.
That's where he's at.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That's right.
But they just look similar building wise.
Yeah.
because
'Cause-
that's what
because
androids
bad
know how to
design.
do.
Again,
Jedi.
50
Bad
years
design.
wearing a sleeve, black for
got it.
5 years.
Real-
Well, our house
Poor
was the
design.
same.
Poor
Sometimes.
design.
Somebody mentioned to me
Architecture and
yesterday-
technology never move forward in
Did
Star Wars.
anybody notice in the episode? I've watched it twice. I didn't see it. Apparently, in one of those ponds, you can see X-wing. Apparently, Luke's X-wing is in the water somewhere.
I'd have to. Look
I'll have to go
again.
back
so
and
I
look
have
for
to
it.
go back and watch that. Somebody told me that yesterday. I was like, well, I mean, that tracks for Luke. He's like, once in the water, always in the water.
I have to go look for it.
So
We'll be back next Monday for Chapter 7 and more
Possibly.
anger.
I won't be here if Luke shows up.
No, I need you to be here.
No. Mm-mm. I quit. I quit Star Wars. All of it. Right.
you
then.
said that last week. If he
I
showed
quit
up
with
this
the Last Jedi.
You so you quit and come back?
Yeah.
You're about to
Yes.
get-
I'm like a wrestler.
You're about to get do not hire. You're about to get DNR'd.
I retire and then
no,
come
not
back.
DNR'd. That's wrong.
No, we want
do
to
not rehire. No, yeah, DNR.
This is Scotty saying this is our
Rehires,
contribution.
resuscitate, whatever.
It's the whole episode. I just can't get anything out. This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours, and may the force be with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
This is the way.
No, it's not.
No,
It's not the way.
this
It's not
is-
the way it's supposed to
This
go.
is no longer the way. We're not those zealots.